Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be going over the best roster battles entering the Washington Commanders training camp. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. It takes 3 seconds to do it and it's free. I would really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get started. And this is a pre-recorded video, recording this on July 18th before I go on vacation, but probably nothing has changed, hopefully. But let's get into it. So there's a decent amount of training camp battles this year, like roster battles in terms of, okay, there's always going to be those battles in terms of who, makes the roster at the end of the, list, those guys, 45 through 53, but not a lot. There's some times where there's not many starting battles, but I feel like there's a few this year, and I want to talk about those. So, 3 to 5 kind of training camp battles, and we'll start off with the cornerback room. And, you got guys like Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St-Juste, Emmanuel Forbes, and Quan Martin. They're all battling for spots. I think the guy that is safe is Emmanuel Forbes. He's going to be starting for the Commanders on the outside. And I think Kendall Fuller will as well. And that puts you with either Benjamin St-Juste in the slot or Quan Martin. If Quan Martin looks good and ready, they're going to start him. If not, it might be Benjamin St-Juste in the slot for a little bit until Quan Martin starts to develop, and then they might put him in the slot. Or let's say they do that, but then, once the season starts, Kendall Fuller is struggling a little bit, maybe they put Benjamin St-Juste on the outside and Quan Martin in the slot once he's ready to go. Or they could start off with Quan Martin in the slot, and then if he's really balling out, and then have, competition between Kendall Fuller and Benjamin St-Juste to see who's that final slot guy. So I think it'll be a little bit of a competition between Fuller and St-Juste, and then St-Juste and Quan Martin. Because they said, Kendall Fuller probably will not play in the slot. He's going to play on the outside. And same thing with Forbes, even though he was playing in the slot a little bit. So that battle is going to be very interesting and intriguing to me, between those kind of cornerbacks right there. And also a kind of sub battle, not really, but if Quan Martin does play safety, I want to see how he competes against guys like Percy Butler and, maybe even Derek Forrest. This is year 2 for him. Maybe he ends up, having a Derek Forrest type season and maybe pushes, Derek Forrest a little bit. You see that safety room right there. You got Percy Butler in there. Jeremy Reed's also competing with Percy Butler. I know they play slightly different positions, but still. And yeah, I'm excited. This whole secondary is really competitive, and I'm excited to see there. And even guys like Rashad Wildgoose, Christian Holmes, and Tariq Castro Fields, like those guys competing against each other. I think that'll be a really good competition, and I'm excited to see what happens there. So that's one of the camp battles I'm excited for. Another one, this is a low tier one, but kind of those last 2 receiver spots. We know the first 4 in Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and De'Ami Brown. But after that, it's like, okay, Dax Milne maybe makes it. Kazmir Allen, Mitchell Tinsley, Marcus Kemp, one of the other undrafted free agents. So I think Dax Milne probably has the highest chance out of any of the other guys. And then maybe Marcus Kemp, and then probably Kazmir Allen. I feel like one of the two in terms of Kemp and Milne will make it. Maybe both of those guys could make it if none of the other UDFAs show out. So Kazmir Allen, I really like what he can bring, and he can be a punt returner for them, or probably more of a kick returner. He has some good abilities there, so he's a guy I'm definitely going to be watching out for to see how he does. And he could also, if he doesn't do amazing in preseason, they could keep get him on the practice squad and promote him for a few games until someone gets hurt. But that's a low key one. But the receiver battle for me is definitely one that I'm watching out for sure. So keep your eye out for that battle. Kazmir Allen, Dax Milne, Marcus Kemp, Mitchell Tinsley, Jalen Sample, some of the other receivers there. This is the wrong tweet, but another one is the Washington Commanders offensive line spot at left guard. You got Sadiq Charles and Chris Paul. They have him as a third guy, but he's a second guy. Those two competing for the left guard spot. You could even throw Ricky Stromberg in there if he doesn't get the starting center job. That is something definitely to watch out for, and yeah, it definitely could happen. But those, I'm trying to find the tweet I originally had, but I guess it's not going to be either. But yeah, those are the guys that are competing for that left guard spot. is, Chris Paul and Sadiq Charles. And I think if I had to guess right now, I would probably say Sadiq Charles gets the job. But if Chris Paul looks good, like, he did in that last game of the season, he was solid. If he looks good, he could push Sadiq Charles for that spot. But Sadiq Charles is going to be his 4th year. So he has 2 years on, Chris Paul, or 3 years. Yeah, 3 years on Chris Paul. So, he definitely, or 2 years on Chris Paul. He has the upper hand there but the thing is, it is 2 years over, but he also missed so much time. And, because of injuries or just he wasn't good enough that he didn't play. So he hasn't had a ton of PT, but he's been going through the offseason process and he knows what to expect versus Chris Paul might not know what to expect for, training camp battles. So that one right there, again, I think Sadiq Charles wins, but it could be close, and I do not feel good about the left guard spot. Sadiq Charles has not shown me enough to be like, okay, I feel comfortable about that left guard spot. He has not shown me that, so I don't know. I'm feeling not great about left guard. It could work out, but yeah, I just do not feel great about that left guard position. And yeah, so Sadiq Charles is my prediction. I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. First off, who do you think, what battles do you think are the biggest? And second of all, who's winning that left guard spot? Alrighty, it's a new day, so that's why I do have a little bit of a different shirt on. But let's get back into it in terms of the different training camp battles. I talked about the main ones, including, the cornerback battle, a little bit of safety battle. I don't think there'll be a big one, but maybe there's a little bit of a battle if Quan Martin decides to play, or if they think he plays, he's playing safety or big nickel, Buffalo nickel position. He could be competing there with Percy Butler, maybe even Derek Forrest, depending on where they want to play him. We talked about that. The left guard spot with Sadiq Charles and Chris Paul. The receiver spot, not the top 4, but the next 2 guys. There's going to be competition between 4 or 5 guys for that spot. And, those are the ones we've talked about a little bit so far. Some other ones that, still need to be resolved, spots is the cornerback, the last cornerback spot. They might keep only 5, and if that's the case, then it's going to be Forbes, Benjamin St-Juste, and then I'm trying to look here. Forbes, Benjamin St-Juste, Kendall Fuller, Quan Martin. That's 4 right there, and Danny Johnson. But they could be okay, Quan Martin's more of he's a safety and a corner, so they could bring another guy, and that could be Christian Holmes, they drafted last year, Rashad Wildgoose, Tariq Castro Fields. So competition between those guys could be a thing right there. We'll see what happens. And then also, punt returner and kick returner. Who is going to be that guy? Jahan, I doubt it's going to happen. I just don't think they want to risk him getting hurt at this point in his career. Dax Milne is still an option. If all goes wrong, he's going to be the punt returner probably. Kick returner could be Gibson, could be Casimir Allen. And then again, if all goes wrong, you could put Dax Milne back there, or Jared Patterson, or even Danny Johnson. The returners aren't going to be a strength of this team unless Casimir Allen surprises a lot of people. But I feel like that's definitely another kind of a little bit of a roster battle, especially between the undrafted free agent wide receivers. So Mitchell Tinsley, Casimir Allen, Jalen Sample, the guy to Stanford. There's a couple more as well. And I'm trying to think, besides that, I don't see a lot of big roster battles. Maybe again, what's his name? Ricky Stromberg will compete for a spot somewhere. The DN spots are always going to be competitive after chasing on Montez Sweat. You got James Smith-Williams, Casey Twill, F.A. Obata. Now you got KJ Henry in there. That's going to be competitive. Also, honestly, the last DN spot will be pretty competitive. It's going to be hard for Andre Jones to make the team. William Bradley King almost has no shot because, you look at the D linemen they're going to keep. Obviously, they're keeping these 4, so that's 4 right there. Then 5, 6, 7, 8. These guys are locks, I would say, to make the team. And then you throw in KJ Henry, that's 9. Some people only keep 9 D linemen. And then you throw in Casey Toohill or Andre Jones. I think Casey Toohill probably has the edge. That's 10. So, Andre Jones, William Bradley King, guys like that, maybe even Abdullah Anderson are on the outside looking in for the DN/D line spots. So besides that, Tight end could have been more of a battle, especially, if Armani Rogers was there. If he didn't get hurt, which is unfortunate, I think he'd be competing with guys like Cole Turner and Curtis Hodges. I think they'll keep 3 tight ends. I think they'll keep Logan, John, and Cole. And then Curtis Hodges is a practice squad guy that they call up occasionally. But maybe they'll end up bringing up and some other guys that are at the undrafted free agent spot that I didn't mention at receiver: Zion Bowens, Bryson Tremaine, and then Kyle McGowan is an undrafted free agent, but he's also competing for a roster spot. He was on the team last year. I don't think he might have been on the 53 at some point, but I don't think so. And then running back's another thing, like Chris Rodriguez, Jonathan Williams, and Jarrett Patterson. I think they'll probably keep these first 3, and I think they really like Rodriguez, so they'll probably keep him. But competing, Jonathan Williams and Jarrett Patterson, those 2 will be competing for a spot as well. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.